In many areas in the world, people are earning their income from coral reefs. Coral reefs protect shores from erosion, and tourism is a very important factor for many islands. The last 40 years we've seen a steady decline in many areas in the world, especially in the Caribbean. Caribbean coral reefs are threatened by pollution, overfishing, coastal development. There are two species who have been very important in the past: Acropora cervicornis or staghorn coral, and Acropora palmata or elkhorn coral, because they are fast-growing coral reef species. So they create a lot of carbonate, which forms the structure of the reef. And they were decimated by the white band disease. It's a disease caused by bacteria, and it spread in the 80s very quickly through the Caribbean area. So the last 5 years there's been small initiatives on several islands to restore little pieces of coral reef, but there was not a bigger program. And we started with a proposal for the EU to work in these overseas areas. We made this bigger project within the BEST 2.0 program, and we tried to restore larger pieces of reef in that area. We work together on these 4 islands with local organizations. They are NGOs that are mandated by the local government to take care of nature conservation and nature management. They are the Turks and Caicos Reef Fund, the Nature Foundation St. Martin, and the Seba Conservation Foundation, and also the Tenapa organization in Statia. A coral reef is a very complex community of corals and fishes, so it's very difficult to create a totally new coral reef within 3 years. So what we do is we try to use these 2 species that grow really fast to create a 3-dimensional structure, maybe of 10 square meters, maybe a little bit bigger, but it's not a whole reef. But it will kickstart the development of a reef, and it will attract fish, it will attract other larvae of corals that will settle in the area. But the biggest goal that we have is that we want to do it in such a way that we involve a lot of the local people. We make sure that the area where we create the nursery and where we transplant the corals to is accessible to the public, that they can snorkel there, that they can dive there. So it's all about creating also awareness with people. There were some corals left, and we tried to restore parts of the reef by taking small fragments from these corals, and then we multiply them in the coral nurseries. So they grow to a certain size, we break them in 2 pieces, and we hang them back in the nursery, and they grow, and we multiply them till we have enough that we can put back on the reef. Part of the project is also that we do research. We are doing measurements of the growth of fragments under different circumstances to find out how they grow as quick as possible. We collect fragments from different parts of the island, and we think that they are genetically different, but we don't know. So we have to do research to find that out. If we know the DNA, we can optimize also the layout of the corals when we put them back on the reef. We try to create a mixture of different colonies that are all genetically diverse, so that when they reproduce sexually within the water column, it's mixed, and that you have different DNA so that the eggs and the sperm can fertilize. If they are from the same mother colony, for example, then they will not fertilize themselves. So we need to make sure that there is a mix of different genotypes, as we call them, in the sea.
It's great to have cooperation with the other islands. It's also happening on Saba, St. Martin, our partners, and now we're also partnering with Turks and Caicos. So it's really nice that this little tiny island is involved in a regional project. I like it when my rangers get to take part in these research projects so that they're not only doing the regular maintenance and patrols and things like that. It's a 3-year project, so I'm hoping that after this, because we've already gotten some exciting results with growth rates and things like that, so I'm hoping that after this we can find funding or just go ahead and expand it.
These 2 coral species are on the IUCN Red List. They are both critically endangered. So anything we can do to multiply them, to give them more presence in the reef is good. I think it's very important. They are fast growing. They create new reef area quickly. So I think we are doing a good job.